G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. Now, many of you already know that women are angry, but increasingly women are angry because men are happy. And what particularly annoys them is that men are happy with their newfound freedom. Remember, it was not long ago that women were elated that men left them alone, that women were demanding they be left alone. Some women still demand they be left alone, except with their husband. But you often find out they don't have a husband, they have a wedding ring. There is a difference, Pokimane. There's a lot of cope out there, but this means sums it up, right? When you are trying to deal with a woman, what she wants in society, equal pay and equal power. But when she's dating, she wants a man who makes more money and is more powerful. This has led to a schism in society that is irreconcilable, which is why so many men are walking away. They cannot deal with the lies, the hypocrisy, the indecisions, the manipulations, and the anger. So when men find their freedom, at first you have the elation phase, right? This is a social, emotional dynamic, right? When a burden has been lifted from you, you feel elated, you feel emancipation. But during this phase of happiness and celebration of your freedom, this leads to women frustrated because women are still stuck in the struggle phase. They perceive the world as unbalanced, out of order, unfair, and they want to right it. While you're out celebrating, they're angry at you because they have not achieved their goals and you're supposed to achieve their goals. Women see the world from a completely selfish bubble that everything revolves around them. And that is why they're angry. They just cannot understand that the world does not revolve around them. That they're angry because their emotional needs are not met, they're not validated, and their connections are unmet. But they are never going to be met. They're unrealistic and always have been unrealistic. Women, however, in the past used to settle. As soon as they realise that they're a free, he's a free, the guy they want's a sex, he doesn't want her, he settles for the man who does. That's the way of the world. Instead, you have now the walrus effect, where the king walrus sits there and has the ladies line up and take their turn, and then they all laugh, and eventually the walrus colony dies because there's not enough diversity in the genetics. Or worse, the male walrus is servicing them, but they're not breeding. That's more likely, right? Now, men can be happy for a number of reasons other than power or independence, right? And it's because men want to look strong and stay strong, right? So men's happiness is a baseline, and this is a phenomenon that is why women are increasingly unhappy. You start here, right? As a child, you're happy with a toy car. Soon you want a real car, then a powerful car. But as you go up, men are happy, women aren't. They always want the next big thing. You are happy with your stages of life. You get to the sports car phase, then you get to the touring car stage, then you get to the polishing the car in your garage phase. Women, numbers go up, excitement go up, but as the excitement goes up, they baseline. They can't downscale, they cannot accept their position, they always want numbers go up. So It's like partying. It's happens to men too. There are positions where men will get bored sitting in nightclubs, like loud music, lots of sexy women, but they're bored because that's now their baseline. When your baseline and your happiness, which is why so many men can be happy with toys rather than the real thing, because the toy is more akin, more in line with where they are at their life. You know, right? Men are more realistic in their expectations. This also drives women mad. So everything you do is going to drive women mad, right? Men are angrier. They are actually more emotional women. The problem is, the reason why women complain is that you're not having the emotions that mirror their emotions, and you are not expressing the emotions they want to hear about. They want to hear about love and strawberry cream and how much you enjoyed 50 Shades of Grey. They don't want you to say, hey, I like that movie, Emily, but France doesn't look like that anymore. No, they want the romance of France. They want the imagination. They want the fantasy of France. They don't want your realism. They want you to validate their desires. Another reason why women are angry is the no context, right? They have no they can't relate to anything that has made you happy. So they start to feel loss, right? They don't have that connection to you. So they start to feel the loss, right? They are desperate for connection, right? Because connection gives them validation, right? When they are, and of course, with the drop in IQ comes the drop in, that's right, emotional self-control, maturity. Women may biologically mature, that doesn't mean they mentally mature. And many people today are not adults. When you're paying child support, the money goes to women. Why? Because that is the child. You are supporting that immature person's gluttony phase. All the vices tend to rise with your immaturity. All right? The more emotional you are, the more vice you engage in. This happens with men too. Contextual difference. Your idea of freedom does not match their idea of freedom, so they are cheesed off at you.
Said the men aren't approaching them in public anymore.
No.
There's the cope. Look at it.
No.
She's laughing. She knows it's bullshit.
In fact, I would like all men, except for my husband, of course.
Well, of course! But you do not look like a married woman. You look like a divorced woman with a phony wedding ring, and yeah. Right? Don't worry, nobody ain't approaching you. You're safe. You ain't gonna tell me twice. Yeah. We're not. Don't worry.
I'm going to be turning 39 a week from tomorrow, and I am still single, and that makes me sad.
See, straight away, you know she's lying, because you can scroll down and get lots of videos where women are completely lonely and sad. But women are scared of happy single men. In fact, they want emotionally damaged boys because they're easier to manipulate. You can't manipulate a happy man. You cannot manipulate someone who does not care when you lift your skirt. He's seen it before. I said, I've seen better on a cat. I've seen better. I've had better. Remember that Jim Carrey movie, Liar, Liar, when he just rolls over, smiles and says, I've had better. That's what they hate. honest, happy.
Scared of happily single men. You want to know why? Let's get into it. Being happily single as a man makes you more appealing. Men that don't need to be in a relationship. Men that have high standards. Men that don't chase women. They chase in purpose. This makes women think, wonder if that man is actually interested in them, and will in turn, y'all listen to this, increase the value of that man and his expressed interest.
No. Yeah. No. See, cope. Right? No. You can't manipulate them. Right? And the women with their cope. And you know what happens, right? Boom. Their cope breaks. Men don't do this. We gather around and tell her... we don't gather around just to say how happy we are. We share ideas. We say, hey, this is what my... You know, I haven't got a latest figure, sorry to show you. I'm pretty much full, right? I've got figures all around the place. I've got Batman. I've got Buddy Girl, Miku. I've got some more Batman. I got... Kanagi Black from Pretty Derby. I've got Miku from 2RU. I've got a Godzilla. I've got some figures from Chainsaw Man. I got some knights, some coffee cups. I got some Star Wars figures. I got actually got a couple of Iron Man. I got some Venom. I got some Simpson figures. I got some dragons. I didn't get all. There was a set of dragons that came out. I couldn't get them all. Doesn't matter. I didn't panic, and I didn't go out and rush and spend lots of money to get a figure off the scalpers. But women, they can't. They can't handle that. Because anything that is not them, right? Men ignoring women, hell yeah, it drives them mad, and they come up with, oh, he's just got standards. That's right. He does. He absolutely does. Now, when you go mgtow, you will go through two phases. The newfound freedom phase, this is the elation phase. This is when you chilled. You no longer have pressure on you. You're now feeling free. You are now having weight lifted off your shoulders. Your posture will start to correct. You're no longer browbeaten, beaten down. As your emotions are lifting, as you become more and more overjoyed and you're at regaining your identity. Right. But then comes the second phase. Actually, should I play this video first? I should play this video first.
I made a video in which I put out my theory that the majority, or at least most men that are single, are not as lonely as a lot of individuals out there would like us to believe. In fact, from the majority of the comments from men, most men have actually found it rather peaceful being single. And this seemed to upset some individuals, and by some I mean some women, some of whom left some very disparaging comments in regards to what they thought of me. But it doesn't matter what they think of me. What I want to know is, why would some women get upset that men are more happy?
More happy single. Well, for her, she's just thinking, it's just standards. Cope. He's just a higher value individual. He's more trustworthy. Or you get the...
Women are upset that men aren't...
You get the cope that... I don't want you. No, I don't want you. Yes. You get the crazy woman who says, no, I don't want your attention. I'm happy without you. And you get all the cat ladies saying, yes, I'm not upset. Right? All the cope. Okay. Yep, sure. Right? But if you're so coped, then why so many men would make...
Yeah, I'm not in no relationship.
Right,
Well,
so
I'm
many
going to
women,
be turning
34. So why are so many women 30 to 50 making videos about being single, sad, and they're stroking a cat? Right? How close is she to hitting the wall? Right? She hasn't hit the wall, but she's close, right? The more makeup, the closer they're going, right? The faster they're going, right? The clock in the background ticking away. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. So yeah, right? Now, there are two phases, right? You are now free and happy. Now you're going to start running into the angry. So you're going to run into the second phase. That is female rage. Women are going to be now angry with you. Women like it when men are miserable. Because now you are having emotions. You are experiencing all their frustration. So they are happy because they've been able to transfer their anger and their frustration onto you. Because you are happy, they cannot make you unhappy. And the second part is you no longer care about them and their emotional needs, about their made-up equality, about their made-up equity, their power imbalance. So they are now psychologically disturbed, right? Anger is a disturbance, right? They are deprived and feeling unheard, that they cannot shoulder you are not shouldering their responsibilities. They cannot shoulder off their emotions onto you, right? Where they just poof, right, dump a 20 kilo bag of anger onto you and you get upset. And this has led to radical responses by women to cite their imagined fears, because they are taking out their anger on the men who are not raping them. They're taking out the anger on men who are not thieves, not drug dealers, not psychotic killers. When you look at the Mangiani trial, right? Mario is a killer, a coward killer who shot a man in the back. He has lots of women excited, right? This tells you, women do not want nice men. They want ruthless killers. They want get-em, sick-em Rex lawyers. They look at them how they line up at the bar, right, for the men in suits. You only have to observe society long enough to understand that women are not good people. And I'm not saying all women, not some women. You only have to observe the actions of many women to understand, right, that 50% of women use and abuse men, so that is not a good number, where 20% will have multiple children with multiple men, and they will burden multiple men for those children. Sometimes getting away with collecting 2, 3, sometimes 4 paychecks for the same child. Yes, it is called child support. She's the child, and the state is the greedy glutton daddy.
Single than they were in relationships. Because I think we all know that sometimes it's worse to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't appreciate you than to be single and be by yourself, where you don't have to worry about impressing anyone or worrying about what they're doing.
That gets you the first phase. That gets you the happy I'm single phase. And that is the majority of men. Happy single. The majority of men for the last 40, 50 years have said marriage is suffering. They tried the cope of the Buddhist cope, right? That all life is suffering, right? Or the Christian duty, right? It's my Christian duty to take care of her. I got to find a woman. And you even get the military cope, you know. You want a relationship? find a woman who hates you and buy her a house. Skip the divorce. So those who are enjoying single, and women who are enjoying being single, they've either had a satisfactory relationship. We are not. Most men are not bothered by single women. It is the nagging, you not paying attention to me. It's the angry single woman, right? That is constantly protesting, the nose ring, the you have to, the secretary who wants to be paid the same as a fireman, the taxi driver who does 20 hours a week wants to be paid the same as the taxi driver who does 40 hours a week, right? It's an endless list of women wanting more. The glutton phase of femininity.
So why would some be upset about what the guys were saying? Seems rather funny, doesn't it?
Yeah, why are you upset that a man is happy? Because, again, as I said, right, the women are angry at you because you are not carrying their emotions, right? This is emotional vampirism, right? It's actually emotional transference, right? Women will transfer their emotions to you. Once they make you unhappy, they become happy, right? And they're expected then to, they want you then to pour back onto them how much you feel and how much it hurts you, and they get more and more elated. It's actually sexual deviancy, right? The pleasure, it's I forget the German name from it, someone's going to say it in the comments below, please, where you obtain joy and pleasure from someone else's misery. Women are getting their rocks off you being miserable, right? Women are toxic, right? In relationships, they engage in toxic behavior, right? They call it flipping the script, saying that this is all the men, I went out with him, but he wasn't interested in me. No, he was not interested in your emotions. There's a difference. He's interested in your tits and your womb. That's it, right? We're not out there initially in the I would say the 18 to 35 stage. You're in the breeding stage. Then you move into the relationship stage where you're now raising the child. Then you move into the, have we built a life together? Now we celebrate it. Women don't want that anymore. They want the excitement phase. They want to be the 12-year-old going on 16 for the rest of their life. They are not maturing emotionally or mentally. They are stuck at 12 going on 16. Right? Women do not go 13, 14, 15, 16. No, they go 12, 16. Right? They pour on the makeup. They start become increasingly sexual provocative and sexually promiscuous. And they wonder why men tune out faster. And now the problem with Gen Z women is they're running around wanting children at 16, but then they complain at 18 that they had children too soon. You have women now who are in their 20s with multiple children complaining that no one wants them. Wonder why, right? No man wants to buy a used car anymore, okay? They want a reliable for life vehicle. They buy the cheaper car, the nicer car, not the fancy car that's going to break down sooner or faster, right? Your plastic sports cars, they break down the fastest, okay? Men do not want to tinker with their car and their woman. They want their woman to be a strong and independent woman, not an emotional vampire. So you men are checking out earlier, right? They are done with women. Women are moving into their angry phase for multiple reasons, and they all have to do with the fact that they're not getting their validation, they're not getting to manipulate men, they're not getting to offload their life frustrations onto men, and worse, particularly with the 4B movement, is they now want revenge for everything that has ever happened to them because you weren't there to protect them, you weren't there to give them money, you weren't there to bail them out at 3 a.m. when they were drunk. The list goes on, right? So all the bad things, right? Yet at the same time, women do not want us armed. They do not want us to be able to fight for their honor or they want. There's actually women now who expect men to be taxed to fund women's lifestyles, right? So you're a fireman earning more than a woman. No, they want you to pay more tax now. They want the lower threshold, right? So they want the widening gap between pay based on averages to determine taxes, right? Just because women are less productive, they want you to shoulder the burden for that. Women are increasingly greedy, gluttonous, envious, lustful. All the virtues are gone, right? The whole thing, women are nice and sugar and spice, was cope, right? Life is a grim fairy tale, right? And we men look for the few pleasures in life, and that is driving women mad because because the Barbie doll doesn't give them any emotion, right? They can't sit there with their Barbie doll. That's why they love the Barbie movie, because finally Barbie could talk. But when they went to make a second one, what happened? It fell apart. The test screenings failed, right? The $1 billion movie concept was the one-hit wonder, right? There was no movie to offset it against, right? They couldn't, right? Barbie is a standalone movie, failed, right? Barbie 2, trying to get Barbie 2 off the ground, failed twice, right? Margot Robbie is bankable on making anything but Barbie, right? Everywhere she goes, it's always Barbie, 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 right? They sell the Barbie movie over and over again, but they cannot make more. They cannot get anything done. Because why? Because she's aging out, right? This fantastic plastic image they put together, what have they got? It's all misandry. They've played every line. They got nothing new. They got nothing funny. They can't do another Ken finding himself. And the Barbie movie, remember, backfired on them. The actual popularity came from all the men going kendo, right? Over half the audience were men there for Ken. When they tried to make a feminine Barbie movie without Ken, it failed. Right? So the Barbie movie was not a feminist success story. And it made a lot of money, but the marketing and the payouts for such a large cast and for such a large pastel set, it cost them. They didn't break even. It cost them money in the end. So while you're in the happy phase, right? So 1, you're in the newfound freedom phase. 2, you get to the women are angry phase. Now you get to the gap phase. This is where you continue to shine. You keep going up. You become the silver fox. Ladies become the sour grapes. And women age out, hit the wall, menopause. They sit around whining. They're only good for taking care of the grandkids or pottering in the garden, right? But they have nothing to contribute to you anymore. They can't take care of your house. They can't take care of the kids, right? They're bleeding you money on all their health problems. and you're trying to take care of your own? No. Society, with all these women to get all these women doctors, to get all these women scientists, to get all these women into computing, they sacrifice the safety, comfort, and security of retirement. Right, retirement funds are worthless. They can't grow faster than inflation in most cases. The governments are increasingly desperate, increasing taxes just to pour money into current retirement funds. Women have destroyed the economy. So the widening gap. Men are happy not to retire. They can potter around, find consultancy jobs, right? They can find office work. Men can still find work up until their 70s. Women are crashing out in their 40s now. Look at France and early retirement and women. School teachers crashing out in their 40s and they look like they're 60 years old. They're only 40. Because they've knocked every... they've burnt every bridge. They've knocked boots with every man. Constantly chasing that thrill of their first orgasm, and women will deny it, but that is all they care about, is getting that, oh yes, I'm a goddess feeling, right? But women are increasingly psychologically unstable, where men, as they age out, become more psychologically stable. Now, the contrast that men and women used to complement and contrast, right? But you can't do that when women have learnt that they can manipulate you and the government, right, with the vote, right, to get their way, instead of... Because they're not strong and independent when they're constantly making demands of the government and threatening to withhold the vote. And because men can't form a voting bloc, right, men are just as divided, left and right, libertarian, contrarian, egalitarian, unitarian, Republican, Democrat, conservative, which is also split. Once upon a time, society is suffering from too many choices, particularly women, where they go out and think, oh yes, I could. Oh, look at this is what happened after World War II, right? All these women saw all these male soldiers all lined up, all 18-year-old boys, fresh from combat, young, dumb, full of cum, dumped their husbands and went through them like a train. And what happened? More and more women got divorced. More and more they made happy divorcee movies, and divorce shot through the roof. Right? All these women lining up to become cum buckets. But what happened to those cum buckets? Right? Elizabeth Taylor, increasingly depressed. Eventually ending it. All these big names, increasingly aged out, depressed, disappearing from public life. But the damage was done. People, right? Jane Fonda become a sex doll. All of them, right? All of them government funded. All of it a big manipulation to transfer wealth from you, the working man, to the government, right? In which they will then peddle that money to their donors and to create a perpetual economy of corruption. So, are you surprised that women are angry? That you are happy? Of course, you shouldn't be. They're losing their power. They have no power over you. Your freedom is the very right? They do not want freedom. They want the fight. They want the struggle. And they want you to capitulate to that fight and never-ending struggle. The never-ending revolution. Right? Men used to go for a cycle of breaking up with women, getting emotional, then getting overjoyed at the next relationship. And eventually women would get bored with dating and settle with the man that's still with them. Again, that's not happening because women think into their 40s, even 50s, they can keep pulling men. And yes, there are some women who can, and there are simps who go chasing women. But as the number of men become mgtow, the number of men who join the great brotherhood that requires no membership, no handbook, no political voting system, no political ideology, no beholden to an external entity or foreign government, and increasingly more and more men becoming self-aware and sharing their joys, right? Their little achievements, whether it's a book they wrote, a movie they saw, an anime series they found, a collectible, whether it's a toy car, a anime figure, playing cards, role-playing games. Men are finding that there is a diverse life beyond dating, and the problem is women are stuck in that perpetual phase of attention seeking. So women are going to be angry in that second phase for quite some time, while we're moving to the third stage, where we are widening the gap, pulling ahead of women, right? We're leading better lives, happier lives, and for many men now, we're starting to live longer lives because we are no longer giving in to depression, overworking, we're taking more care of ourselves, and we're not engaged in perpetual butthurt. And I think, right, we can personally, do we not have a good laugh at these perpetually butthurt women? Right? Do you feel anything else? What emotions are you experiencing? Because I'm happy, and I want to know that you're happy. I don't need to know everything about you, but at least, what you want to talk about, what you want to know. And hopefully, right, you'll understand now why women are increasingly unhappy with you, whether it be your mother, sister. Some men had to have daughters angry with them, but perpetually it's just women around you, particularly in the workplace, that see you happy and they just can't stand it. And of course, the increasing phenomenon of human resource departments is shrinking because the number of corporations is shrinking. So, and of course now with less children, there are going to be less schools. So the number of teachers is going to shrink. Women have played themselves and are increasingly desperate. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel and support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. Appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.